Did you know there's an algorithm right now that can detect childhood trauma you've completely forgotten? Not through therapy, not with questionnaires, but just by analyzing how you type your text messages. It's so accurate, it can predict PTSD with 83% precision, sometimes before you even realize anything is wrong. Thousands of people are uncovering traumas they buried decades ago, not in a therapist's office, but through their phones. A woman discovers hidden abandonment issues. A man uncovers anger trauma he always thought was just part of his personality. Their conscious minds forgot, but their words remembered everything. Here's the disturbing part. While some find healing, others are being exploited. Tech companies are mapping your psychological wounds, not to help you, but to sell to you. Your deepest traumas are becoming marketing data, and you never gave permission because you didn't even know they existed. What happens when a machine knows your pain better than you do? What if I told you that an artificial intelligence could analyze your text messages right now and identify childhood trauma you don't even remember? Not through therapy or deep conversations, but by reading the invisible patterns in how you communicate. Patterns your conscious mind has been hiding from you for years. This isn't science fiction. This is happening right now. Meet Sarah, 32, successful marketing executive. Happy marriage. Or so she thought. She started using an AI mental health app, just for fun, to track her mood. Within 3 weeks, the algorithm flagged something disturbing: severe abandonment anxiety patterns embedded in her language. The AI detected how she unconsciously avoided certain words, how her sentence structure changed when discussing relationships, how she overcompensated with enthusiasm when people mentioned leaving. Sarah had no memory of abandonment trauma until the AI showed her the evidence. Then, the memories started flooding back. A father who left when she was 4. A memory her brain had completely erased. This is the new frontier of psychology, artificial intelligence that reads your mind better than you can. Here's how it works. Every time you type, text, or speak, you're leaving behind psychological breadcrumbs. Natural language processing algorithms can now detect micropatterns in your communication that reveal hidden trauma, repressed memories, and unconscious defense mechanisms. They analyze thousands of linguistic markers: word choice, sentence, complexity, emotional tone, response time, even the emojis you use. Your conscious brain lies. Your language patterns don't. Research from Stanford and MIT shows these algorithms can predict PTSD with 83% accuracy just from social media posts. They can identify depression before you feel sad. They can spot anxiety disorders before your first panic attack. The machine sees what you've been trained to hide, even from yourself. But here's where it gets really interesting. Your brain has a built-in trauma protection system called dissociative amnesia. When something is too painful to process, your mind simply deletes it, locks it away. You genuinely don't remember. Psychologists have known this for decades. But here's the twist. While your conscious memory forgets, your behavioral patterns remember everything, and AI can read those patterns like a book. Think about it. That weird discomfort you feel in crowded spaces. The way you always prepare for worst-case scenarios. How you apologize excessively, even when you've done nothing wrong. You probably think these are just personality quirks. The AI knows better. It recognizes them as trauma responses, adaptive behaviors you developed to survive situations you can't consciously recall. The machine connects dots you didn't even know existed. Mark, a 28-year-old software developer, experienced this firsthand. He used a chatbot AI for productivity coaching. Nothing related to therapy, but the AI kept circling back to his communication style, pointing out hypervigilance patterns, excessive explanation, defensive language, and preemptive justification for simple requests. Mark thought it was a glitch. The AI suggested he might have grown up in an environment where mistakes led to disproportionate consequences. Mark laughed it off, until he called his sister. Turns out their father had explosive anger issues throughout their childhood. Mark had completely normalized it, forgotten the fear, buried the trauma. But his language remembered. Every defensive phrase, every over-explanation was linguistic scar tissue. If you're finding this valuable, hit that subscribe button. We're going deep into psychology and technology most people never talk about. Now here's the uncomfortable question. If a machine knows your trauma before you do, is that liberation or invasion? On one hand, early detection means early intervention. Trauma you don't know about still controls your life. It sabotages relationships and limits your potential. The AI could be the key to unlocking healing you didn't know you needed. It's like having a psychological X-ray, seeing the broken bones you've been walking on for years. But there's a darker side. Some traumas are buried for a reason. Your psyche makes calculated decisions about what you can handle. Forcing awareness before you're ready can be traumatizing. There's a reason therapy is gradual. Why trust with a human therapist matters. An algorithm doesn't care about your readiness. It just reveals. And sometimes, that revelation breaks people. Jessica found this out the hard way. An AI wellness app identified patterns of sexual trauma in her journaling. She had no conscious memory of abuse. The app suggested recovered memory therapy. She pursued it aggressively, convinced the AI must be right. She developed false memories, destroyed family relationships, and spent 2 years in crisis. Later assessments revealed the original AI analysis was based on misinterpreted anxiety patterns unrelated to sexual trauma. The machine was wrong, but the damage was done. This raises the critical issue of AI accuracy. These systems are powerful, but they're not infallible. They see patterns, but patterns can have multiple explanations. The same linguistic markers for trauma might also indicate learned behavior from anxious parents or cultural communication styles. Without human clinical judgment, AI diagnosis becomes psychological Russian roulette. But here's what nobody's talking about. The real danger isn't misdiagnosis, it's exploitation. Right now, tech companies are collecting your psychological data. Every search, every click, every message is analyzed for emotional vulnerabilities. Marketing algorithms use trauma patterns to target advertising. That ad for comfort food that hits differently when you're stressed. Not a coincidence. That therapy app that appears exactly when you're spiraling. Calculated. Your trauma has become a product. Amazon's algorithm knows you have anxiety before you even search for anti-anxiety products. Facebook's AI detects depression and serves you ads for quick fix solutions instead of genuine mental health resources. Your deepest wounds are being mined for profit, and you never consented because you never even knew those wounds existed. They call it emotional intelligence marketing. I call it digital psychological exploitation. So, what do we do with this knowledge? You have a right to know yourself, but you also have a right to psychological privacy. The question isn't whether AI can know your trauma better than you do. It clearly can. The question is, should asterisk it, and who controls that information? Some psychologists argue for regulated AI trauma screening with human oversight. Others warn that a machine can see patterns, but it can't understand meaning. And meaning is everything in psychology. But here's what gets lost in this debate. The real issue isn't the technology, it's self-awareness. AI is forcing us to confront an uncomfortable truth. We do not know ourselves as well as we think. We're all walking around with blind spots and buried pain that shapes every decision we make. The AI isn't creating this problem, it's just making it visible. Maybe the breakthrough isn't in the technology. Maybe it's in accepting that self-knowledge is incomplete, and that healing requires the courage to face what we've been hiding from ourselves. The AI is just holding up a mirror. What you do with your reflection is still your choice. Here's my challenge to you. Pay attention to your patterns. Notice your automatic reactions. Question why you feel what you feel. You don't need AI to start seeing yourself more clearly. If you ever use AI mental health tools, remember this. The machine can identify patterns, but only you can understand your story. Use it as a starting point, never an endpoint. Your trauma deserves more than an algorithm. It deserves compassion, context, and careful healing. The AI knows your trauma better than you do. Not because it's smarter, but because it's not afraid to look. Maybe that's the real lesson. Stop being afraid to look at yourself. The truth might hurt, but denial hurts more. If this video made you think, leave a comment sharing your thoughts. Have you ever discovered something about yourself you didn't realize? I read every comment, and your insights help shape future content. Remember, understanding your trauma is the first step to healing it. The machine can show you the door, but you have to walk through it. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.